safety is तुम basically कुछ variables को you can give the ability to be null. तो उसके आगे तुम question mark add करो. Like string question mark can be either null or it can be a string. This is called null safety. And asynchronous programming language for await and async. ये compilation है इतना कुछ काम कर रही है. And there are also some dynamic data types but वो इतना use नहीं आते. So अब कोड करते हैं थोड़ा. ये डेमो कोड है, ये भी तुमको शेयर हो जाएगा. एक बार ही मैं इसको समझा देता हूँ. अभी मैं अंडरस्टूड बोलता हूँ. Is the screen visible?
Yes, it is.
So basically ये एंड्रॉइड स्टूडियो है अगर तुमने यूज ना किया हो. एंड इसमें लाइक एमुलेटर्स होते हैं. लाइक दिस इज एन एमुलेटर. तो ये फोन को तुम्हारा लाइक कॉपी कर रही है क्या चल रहा हो फोन में अगर ये ऐप है. बट अभी क्योंकि हम जस्ट डार्ट का देख रहे हैं तो अभी इसकी जरूरत नहीं है. So basically this is a demo Dart code. It is nearly C++. तो ज़्यादा इसमें कुछ डिफरेंट नहीं है. एक क्लास डिक्लेरेशन है. अभी ये है code, but अभी तक काम नहीं है. So basically let's start with printing hello world. You just print hello world semicolon. And then there are variable declaration. So you can declare variable directly by using var. So you don't have to decide like it will be a string or what. It will automatically set it to string because the allocated part is a string. And then there are two special data types which are called final and constant. So constant once declared cannot be changed. So let's say I have a constant array equal to with one element 5, and if I try to change it like t0 equal to 6, this will cause an error. And but final is something like it can only once allocated. So it is pointing to a specific address in your memory. So if I allocate like final x equal to array 1 equal to 2, array 1 comma 2, this can be changed like x0 equal to 2. But if I do this equal like let's say I reallocate the array 2 comma 3. Basically what this does is makes a new array of elements 2 comma 3 and then assigns it to x. But as you can see it is showing an error like this. This cannot be done because array is final. So once given an address like here, it cannot be reassigned to some other address. This will cause an error. And then there are control flow statements. If year is greater than equal to 2, print 21st century and stuff. ये नियरली C++ है तो मुझे ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम नहीं आएगी डार्ट सीखने में इसलिए. And then it also has for final object. Like it's for auto x in array like in C++. So एंड इसमें एक स्पेशल है कि तुम फंक्शंस को विद इन अ फंक्शन असाइन कर सकते हो, डिफाइन कर सकते हो. लाइक एज ये मेन के अंदर एक और फंक्शन डिफाइंड है फिबोनाची. तो तुम ऐसा कर सकते हो इस लैंग्वेज में, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं आएगी. और लाइक लेट्स सी दिस फंक्शन फ्यूचर void print with delay 1 string message async. Basically this is an asynchronous message, asynchronous function. So when your function is running, so when it ever comes across an asynchronous function, it keeps on running and it creates a parallel function that happens alongside. Like let's say I have these two functions. These two are basically similar, but you can make them in two different ways. You will print with delay 1, message 1, print with delay 2, message 2. Basically they have 1 second delays and then print message 3. And if I run this code, You get message 3 first because message 1 and 2 were being done asynchronously and they were running in parallel. And after 1 second delay, you got message 1 and message 2. Let me run it again. 1 second delay, and then you got message 1 and 2. ये बेसिक ही है मतलब नियरली सी प्लस प्लस है. अब फ्लटर मूव ऑन करता है. अगर तुम्हें कोई डाउट्स हो तो पूछ लो अभी. एनीवन? हेलो, आवाज आ रही है क्या?
हाँ हाँ आवाज आ रही।
ओके यार.
क्लास का नाम स्पेसक्राफ्ट है।
यस. Flutter. Like similarly, I have given links to learn Flutter. Uh, and some things about Flutter. It is a framework which is powered by Dart, and it can build applications for mobile, websites, desktop, and anything. So that's why it's a cross-platform language. So like if you're using Flutter, you don't have to write separate codes for web dev like in HTML, CSS, and for Android like in Kotlin. You can compile the same code to give an exe file, like an HTML file, and then also a APK file for Androids. So that's why you have to just write your code once, and it will be converted to any platform you want. And there are features like hot reload, customizable widgets, state management, and the documentation is also really good. That's it about Flutter, and now we can start coding. Is the screen visible?
Yes it
यस।
is.
Sure. So अभी लाइक एंड्रॉइड स्टूडियो है, शुरू से एक नया प्रोजेक्ट बनाते हैं. You can go to file and select new and a new project, a new Flutter project. And then SDK path will be fixed. Let's make it GDG project. And then here are the platforms you want this to be supported by. So Android, iOS, Linux. But right now we are only doing Android, so we can just unselect others. And टाइम लग रहा है इसी में. एक सेकंड मेरा Android स्टूडियो है, मैं वापस स्टार्ट करता हूँ. तो बेसिकली जब तुम नया प्रोजेक्ट बनाओगे तो कुछ ज़्यादा शो करेगा एंड I'll give you an overview. So here, these are the directories, and you only need to know this one, lib. So इससे main dot dart होगा, demo dot dart मैंने बनाया, इसको हटाई देते हैं भैया. So this main dot dart होगा, इसमें तुम्हें सारा code and the devices. So the video I've shared, उसमें devices install करने का भी होगा. So you can go to your device manager and then select an emulator and then run it. So basically तुम्हारा emulator से start हो जाएगा. And to run your project, you have to select main.dart here and then press this run button. In Flutter, like everything is a widget. So now let's start. Like firstly, you have to import this package Flutter material.dart, and then in main you have to run a constant Maya, run Maya for anything. It's, and to declare a widget, you have to make a stateless widget or a stateful widget. To make a stateless widget, you have to type STL and then it automatically does it for you. And then name it my in widget. And in this class, basically it is extended from a stateless widget. There are two types of widgets in Flutter, a stateless widget and a stateful widget. In a stateless widget, you cannot change it once it has been made. But in a stateful widget, you can change it. I'll show you in a minute. And let's say we want text, and you'll write text hello. And now if I run it, so it will take some time. So as you can see, it is showing an error. It happens because you don't know where it has to write the word text. So due to this, we have a healthy practice to make a scaffold widget. Just so you know this what I have. Screen visible app. So scaffold is like the main overview of your whole screen. Let's say I say run down. Okay, so you need a material app also. Material app decides the theme of your whole project, and then you can add a home screen to it, which will be your another widget. And you have to define another widget, my widget 2, and then you can have text size. Let's add a scaffold first. So basically, yeah. So firstly, you have to add a material app, and its main responsibility is to change the theme of the whole project. So if I add theme over here and add the theme data object, basically theme is the category which you are adding to it. So let's say its domains like material app has a property called title and a property called theme. And if you change the theme data, let's say I want app bar theme, and I add an app bar theme. Basically, properties start with a lowercase alphabet and the object starts with an uppercase alphabet. So if it's an app bar theme and this is an app bar, and let's say I change the, what do you have to change? Let's say you want to change the color. So you will select color, colors dot. Let's say I want red. So now the app bar is red. And you can add other fields also, but right now it just displays what it does. And you want to, so scaffold is like the whole overview of your page. So it has an app bar right now. Let's say I also want to add a floating action button. You also can see what you can add by just like hovering over it. It has these properties, like it has a app bar, it has a body, it has a floating action button. So you want to add a floating action button, you can do floating action button and then start with the capital F floating action button. And right now on press it does nothing. Hey, you have a floating action button. And let's say I want to assign it an icon. So you can do it by just forward and it will say child. So you can add a child called icon. That's how I want it. Icon. Now it has a child. Uh, I'm not sure if you can see it. Can you see this? Now if you change it to plus, it becomes +1. So basically you have a whole material app widget. Then on top of it, you have a scaffold widget, which has children of app bar and this photographing button. So in this way, you can keep on adding children, and then it's like a tree of widgets. Now let's add body, and I want it to be some text. You can add text, hello world, and then you save it, and you can see hello world over here. So now let's say I want to add something in the middle. What do I do? I can just make it centered, and this whole thing becomes ah what? Wait, you have to right side. This whole thing becomes centered. And let's say you want to add something in columns. So you want hello world and then hello world again. Let me just format it first. Now I want a child of column. So in column you have many children. So let's say one of them is hello world. And then the children could be hello world 2. And if you save it, you can see it like this. So it's a column where you have two hello worlds. And now I can also make it a row. Now you have like this. And some special properties of row is you can just decide how you want it to be aligned. So you have a main axis alignment and cross axis alignment. So if you set main axis alignment to capital main axis alignment dot, and you can set, let's say it's end, near the end, and if you set it space evenly, so it has even space around it. And in this way, you can just decide where your widgets are going to be. Now let's say I also want to add an image. So to add an image, you can, let's say I want image to be below this center, and let's make this column. And then there must be children. First children is this. Right now, let's just add some text. So the hello is printed below this. Basically, this is a column widget with first row widget which has hello world and hello world 2, and then again a column entry which is hello. Now if I add some more text, like it is just added below it. And if I want it to be evenly spaced, I can go to column and main axis alignment, capital M, main axis alignment, dot. Let's do space between this time. If you have space between, there is no space at the ends. So If you do space evenly, there's also some space in the end. Hmm. And yeah, let's add an image now. Basically, there are two ways to add an image. You can either add it from internet. I'll do it uh, first. Image, you have to set network image, and then you have to give the URL. I'll copy it. So yeah, we have an owl over here. And what if I do it again? Now you have another error. So this is called pixel overflow. Basically, your screen has limited amount of pixels, and if you try to add more pixels than it has, then it will show this yellow and black. To resolve this, you have to make it scrollable. Right now, it's not scrollable. So to do that, you have to add your whole widget inside a single child scroll. Let's say this was my column widget. I do a right click and you do show. And you can wrap it with another widget. Right now, I'm wrapping it with single child scroll view. And now it's scrollable. Hmm. What if I shut down, like, turn off the internet? Now, if you restart this app, you'll get errors. And to resolve this, I think it's always better to add your images offline. To do that, you have to just right click and let's say you want to make a new directory and name it images. And now you add this owl image to your directory. And then you go to pubspec.yaml. It basically contains all the details it needs to run your project. And under assets, you have to add your image. Assets slash owl.jpg images. And save it. Now you have to make it an asset image and write the same asset. Images slash owl.jpg. Okay, so बीच में रन हो जाएगा इंटरनेट हो इशू आ रहा है। तो ये फर्स्ट वाली एसेट्स आई है इमेज, एंड ये सेकंड वाली इंटरनेट से फेच हो रही है। तो लाइक प्रोजेक्ट क्रिएट करते हुए तुम मेक प्रोजेक्ट ऑफलाइन कर देना। राइट नाउ मैंने नहीं करा था, तो इसलिए उसको इंटरनेट कनेक्शन जरूरी होता है चलने के लिए। एनीवे, सो नाउ लेट्स लर्न अबाउट स्टेटफुल विजेट्स। तो अभी के लिए ये सब let's say, राइट नाउ अगर मैं इस विजेट के अंदर लाइक लेट्स डिफाइन अ वेरिएबल int num equal to 0, and now I want to write hello space num. So you can do it like this. Now it reload. Hmm. तो यहाँ पे hello 0 आ रहा है, बट अगर हम जैसे अभी फ्लोटिंग एक्शन बटन था हमारे पास, हम इसमें ऐड कर दें on pressed, let's say I want to increment this number num, and on pressed receives a void function, so it does not basically output anything. And you can do it by this two curly brackets and with the two normal brackets. And I do num plus plus, and I print num. Basically, num was 1, num was 2, num was 3. So here you're seeing the values of num. But nothing is being updated over here. This is because this whole widget is a stateless widget, and its states cannot be updated. Now let's create a stateful widget which has some states to it. Let's say my widget 3, and let's copy the same content. So now we are in widget 3, as you can see, and you can also see the values of num, and the num is still being incremented, but the hello wasn't updated. To resolve this, you have a function in stateful widgets called set state. If you call set states, this whole widget is rebuilt. And let's do a set state over here. Now you can see the value of hello hashtag num is being updated on pressing this button. So on calling this set state function, this whole widget of scaffold was rebuilt. Now if I also add num over here, space dollar num, this will also be rebuilt. So this was a stateful widget. And this whole thing might seem a bit complicated, but you just have to get started. All thing is being done with Flutter only. You can add stateful widgets by STF and it's done. State listed by STL and it's done. So right now we have gone through like scaffold widget, material app widget, and rows and columns widget, and a basic text widget, and also icons and scaffold buttons, floating action buttons. And just the main crux of this whole thing is this Flutter uses a tree of widgets where each widget is being overlaid on top of as a child of another widget. And the first widget is being called from run app function. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Like all the key points of this talk have been already covered. Now this remaining time is for doubts only. Simran,
नहीं मेरे को तो कोई डाउट नहीं।
नहीं मतलब
हाँ
खत्म करे फिर।
हाँ फाइन।